Well, so far we have had 2 rounds played in Riftbound Clash number 2, and we have 2 more to go. I'm here with Sylvan. How you doing? How's these rounds been going for you?
Well, guys, not gonna lie, up until now, we saw 2 pretty exciting decks, for sure. We have seen Timo in the first round, we have seen Annie in the second round. Right now, we are going quite back on the track, I would say, but right now, we'll be seeing Darius and JINX, and from these 2, I would say JINX is less common encounter than Darius. But we'll start with the more common one, Darius, of course, with baited hook build.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. We've seen Darius be able to perform pretty well in this meta as we are continuing to figure it out, of course. With that being said, it's going to be something really interesting. Baited Hook can kind of be the bread and butter of this deck, really trying to get things going so much faster. You do sacrifice a unit, and then you get to go ahead and look for one that is 1 more might than what was sacrificed and put it out onto the battlefield. So a lot of speed and versatility that can be added, and a lot of units that can be added really quickly with such an ability.
And coming against him will be JINX with no answer to gears, we need to point out. So basically this baited hook can be safe and sound every now and then, just needs to be drawn. But from the JINX we have quite, I would say, that's not a JINX that we've been seeing from the start of Riftbound. I feel that like JINX was the first complete deck because we have seen Immortal Phoenix very early, and that JINX by herself does not need a lot to be playable. She's just an aggro deck, right? She just wants to battle at fields. And she has, the great thing is that because of Immortal Phoenix, you can play more of a control-ish. You can play reactively. You can just try to resurrect your Immortal Phoenixes from the graveyard. And you have a lot of threats that gives you a pressure against your opponent. You have Kaisas, you have Dariuses. It's great. I really want to see JINX win this one.
Yeah, this will be interesting, and the biggest thing with JINX is her legend ability is so good as well. Being able to, at the start of your beginning phase, draw an additional card if you have 1 or fewer cards in your hand. So, I mean, if you have 1 card left, boom, just like that, you go right up to 3, and it can be a very big difference maker. So with that, we are going to be starting our mulligans as well. And it's going to be interesting because this Darius might need to have to hit the ground running pretty fast to try to get things going, because JINX thrives on the discard. And just like that, you also see Flame Chompers in hand, which is one of the cards you want to discard.
But because of that, we can be quite shocked that we don't see a classic JINX in the champion unit field. We see the 5-cost JINX that says when you discard 1 or more cards, ready me and give me +1 this turn. So, funny thing is that it's not once per turn ability. This JINX can be hopping on many different battlefields, just as you would expect from Yasuo, for example. But there is not as much discard engine as we would see in the early stages of JINX deck lists.
Yeah,
we definitely
exactly.
have Super Mega Death Rockets. We have, for example, of course, Traveling Merchant, but Merchant also gives you +1 card. So I really want to see how long it will be until we see JINX with no cards in hand.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to be kind of the interesting part here as well. And you also have, like, the Super Mega Death Rocket, which could be becoming a big attribute to this matchup as well, being able to deal 5 damage to a unit. But also when you conquer, you may discard 1 card and return it from your trash to your hand. So that, again, might be some of that interaction that you might need to go ahead and continue this momentum going. And so we'll see. And then at the same time, we do have these 2 great battlefields that have been chosen. And we have the Candlelit Sanctum, which is going to be when you conquer here and look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and you may recycle 1 or both of them and put them back in any order. And likewise with Zone Warrens, when you conquer here, discard 1, then draw 1. So I think JINX might be trying to go for a lot of interaction with her champion ability.
Wait. It's Isn't it the Batsu? Or my eyes are deceiving me? There is, maybe your guys not familiar, but I'm coming from not familiar with the thing I will say shortly, but for the context, I'm coming from One Piece TCG, And over there, we have this GOAT, the guy that is single-handedly making One Piece great, and he's called Batsu. And he's the guy who created One Piece Simulator, which basically helps a lot, let's be honest. And I wonder if it's the same guy. I really would like to know, but maybe it's just a coincidence. Anyway, maybe there will be an opportunity to ask him about that. But about Battlefield, that you said, about the Candlelit Sanctum, very important for Darius in the early game to find baited hook as fast as possible.
Yep, and this is going to be the big thing. That is going to be the card that you want in your opening hand is going to be that Flame Chomper. You're going to be able to discard him, and then you just have to recycle a Fury Rune, and you can immediately play it out onto a battlefield. So this is how fast JINX can end up playing here. A lot to be able to add here in this case. So right now, 7 might being out on turn 2 in this case. And JINX also, one thing that's really cool is that this has the ability to just go super hard, super fast, but also be able to utilize not having a lot of runes in play as a JINX player. So this is going to be interesting to see what Batsu can then do to go ahead and get back into this game, because right now you're seeing just how fast this deck can move.
And because of many power costs that JINX needs to pay, she plays 4 seals. That's insane in my opinion. 4 seals, because at the end of the day, seal of course helps you to develop, helps you to not be detrimental in terms of runes, but can be a dead card. So of course JINX is happy because she can just discard it. It can be a discard fodder. But 4 runes sounds quite a lot. We are playing 3 Seal of Rage runes, and Seal of Rage, of course, seals, and 1 Seal of Discord. So 3 red and 1 purple. Really interesting to see. But in terms of going all out in the early turns, as we see right now, it's so funny because even Kaisa could have a lot of trouble deleting all those units so early in the game.
Yep, exactly. And
It's
here we
such
go,
an aggressive deck.
seeing the second card being played for the turn, so that's going to be a great ability to create 2 additional tokens as well, and then also moving to take a battlefield. We are at 1-1. Now, the Darius player has been able to go ahead and get out that baited hook, and so we're already seeing a lot of great interaction. But I also want to point out that the Super Mega Death Rocket has been discarded as well, so that can start being recycled to mitigate maybe what the baited hook might be able to do, because, man, if you can go ahead then and just take out the Vanguard Captain, you're almost hoping that when you look at the top 5 cards with the baited hook, that you're going to be finding a Spectral Matron, because when that is then played, then you can go ahead and replay Vanguard Captain and play an additional 2 units on that as well with the token ability that that card has.
Insane value. But I feel like for now, Darius is kind of a high roll deck. If you high roll, you are unstoppable, but you need to see right pieces. That's why you have the Candlelit Sanctum, but it's only 1 battlefield for BO3. I really want to see if this version of Darius will be consistent. That's important in my opinion, especially if we will be seeing best of threes as main way to compete in big tournaments.
Exactly, and we're already seeing just why we are picking this champion of JINX to be here. It comes in with 6 might, just like that, some boosted ability there, and able to then move in. And so now we are going up 3-1 in this case. We're already building up a lot of utility in the backfield that we can now use to support our battlefields as well, and we'll be discarding the Phoenix to go ahead and draw something. So now we have the missile in hand, we have a Phoenix in the grave, we are having a lot of interaction as well, because if you go ahead with the Phoenix and kill a unit with a spell, you may pay 1 and recycle a Fury to go ahead and play it from your trash. Now that is going to be a big deal.
By the way, the fact that you can do something like this with your champion unit is so insane. Like having a rush, going to a battlefield, conquering it, and going back to your base, making it safe. Darius has a lot of problems with dealing with units outside of battlefields. But actually, our Darius that's playing here as Batsu, Batsu playing as Darius, he's playing 2 falling stars. Wow.
Yeah, man, this is going to be interesting, though, because, again, it's going to be who can go ahead and maintain the answers for the other person's board in this case, but JINX is looking terrifying. Yeah, you're exactly right about that falling star there, but, you know, you can really start to get caught behind if you don't have the bait, or if the baited hook is able to go off and continue to find the answers that it needs as well. JINX at least does have the answers in the sideboard with fading memories, but otherwise, the difficult part with this is game 1, you're still going to have to deal with that this turn around, and man, it can move fast and really start making some devastating things happen for your opponents to have to deal with.
Let's see. I mean, he needs to use it this turn, right?
Because yeah, I would say so.
What was the point of playing it? Paying 2 power costs in... Ah, no, sorry, it's... Oh, no. It doesn't. Fortunately, okay, never mind. I don't know why I thought that it has 2 power costs. You need to only use power as only 1 power and 1 energy to use it. By the way, I saw something wrongly. But then still, it is a threat that hangs up in the sky. But what are you looking for? Of course, Spectral Matron. But the most beautiful thing about this decklist and the decklists with baited hook is that if you use baited hook on Vanguard Captain, you don't have a unit in your deck that you would not be able to play if you use it. You just need to see any possible card in top 5 cards to play it.
Yep, exactly, and that can be a lot of great answers to be able to use as well. So right now, we're seeing the Vayne coming in. Now, of course, Vayne has Assault +3 and enters in ready, so the big thing with that is now it is at 5 for a total of 8 versus the 6. And so also, the nicest part about Vayne as well is that when you are done conquering, if you so choose, you can go ahead and pay 1 to remove it or return it to the owner's hand. Now, of course, in this case, that's not necessarily going to be happening, but you at least have the option if Vayne does survive.
Let's see. Conquering basically for free. Like Vayne was only a fodder, but it's pretty weird to make her go away. But then, okay, the first seal. The only game today probably that we'll be seeing runes seals on 2 sides of board, probably. They are not very popular. I was thinking that at the start when we are starting to see runes, seals, of course seals. I was thinking that every deck in first set would be playing seals, but then some things changed.
Well, and that's the big thing too, is because it's like you're trying to find the most optimal way to fit 40 cards into your deck, and it's a hard cap with that as well. It's not like other games where like you can go 65, 70 cards in like Magic the Gathering or something like that, and so you got to be so careful about what do I want to keep in or maybe sacrifice in this case.
We have the play you were talking about. We got baited hook into Matron, and then we are getting, of course, a Legion Vanguard Captain with another 2 bodies.
Yep, and that's exactly how fast you can move with this deck. And so, I mean, yeah, you were able to find that Vanguard through the baited hook, and now 2 more units have been populating the field, and that could be a lot of might that you have to deal with in this case. And so there's also some bigger things that you might need to worry about in the late game. You know, we have 2 grand stratagems that are in this deck list, and so when your opponent then goes ahead and you see that the Darius is at 6 points, well, cool, I have grand stratagem in hand, I'm going to go ahead and play that all of my units and get +5, and I just win the game.
Yes, beautiful thing is that Darius right now can just play reactively. He does not need to commit a lot of units to the battlefields. He can just see how much does JINX commit, and let's be honest, JINX hates to play against token decks, against decks that have a lot of small bodies in their base in the battlefields, because like JINX is okay if you are playing hold decks. She wants to super mega defrocket your units, but here what do you want to super mega defrocket? Like, it's minus value basically.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to be the hard part too. But you're at least now going to be able to look at the top two cards and figure out, do I want those in the bottom, middle, where do I want those? And so looks like one is going to be going on the bottom, and I think the other one might be going on the top here in this case. And so, yeah, you got to just be so careful. Now, the plus side as the Jinx player is that you're going to be finding yourself seeing that Darius only has two cards in hand. And so it's like, let me go ahead and try to continue to get this momentum, keep holding these battlefields, dealing with the threats. I mean, because it's like, I gotta almost race and hope that my opponent is unable to get to 6 because I'm almost on that time clock here in this case.
I guess that's the main problem with Jinx, right? That there is a moment when your fuel just runs out. Technically, it should be like that. The funniest part is, sorry to interrupt, but just one thing, that you are playing game without your Legend's ability, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And we just saw right there as well a hidden blade coming out to stop the Jinx from going ahead and taking the battlefield. And yes, you are giving your opponent 2 cards in order to take care of that, but man, that readied Jinx is such a threat to have to deal with. But still, look at the difference of hand sizes here, but that grand stratagem could be something pretty devastating.
How do you manage from this point? You would like to have some traps from your hand, but Jinx does not have many of those.
Not necessarily, but you are at least able to recycle the missile as well and keep dealing 5 damage so long as you can conquer.
And that's true. As long as Darius is playing as he's playing right now, I guess that's doable. But then still, you do you remember? I said that you are playing 4 seals. Jinx did not see even 1 until now. So every Super Mega Dev Rocket, every Phoenix is minus like 1, maybe even 2 runes per turn. You are not going up in runes if you want to play like that.
Yep, and that was a great answer, though, taking out one of the answers that Baited Hook could go ahead and utilize in this case. That's going to be something that will make such a big difference here. And again, with the top draw, we have Cleave. So this is still could be a very big turn for the Darius player. He can go ahead and play Darius, then go ahead and play the Cleave on top of that. He has the rune count to be able to do so. Darius will come in with 10 might and then be able to go ahead and take the battlefield of choice, which probably in this case you're going to be going after the top one with Phoenix there as well.
Honestly, Sarcastic looked maybe even too much optimistic, too much happy about the situation.
Honestly, optimistic.
He was giggling.
So yeah, don't blame him there. I mean, and you're up right now 5-3. You have 5 cards in hand. You have a lot of really great answers, but again, it really can just be that one card that your opponent draws that can turn the tides and really make that impact to get you back in the game. 2 points is not a lot, as we've discovered so far, even in this tournament, to come back from. And so, Batsu can still go ahead and maybe continue to get this going. The field might be looking a little weak, but there's a lot that can still be utilized here.
He's definitely having some kind of a pickle here. Let's see hands one more time. What's happening here? He's thinking about Darius, I guess. But
yeah,
I mean, Darius and Cliff, that's definitely an answer. Problem is that if you won't be able to uphold... No. Never mind. It should be the only play here. The point is, Jinx needs to get rid of it. But if she wants to, she would need to be able somehow to recycle to get the Super Mega Dev Rocket from her trash. But she won't be able to, because she will only have 6 runes. You need to play a unit, definitely with Accelerate, and then be able to play Super Mega Dev Rocket. It won't happen. So,
yeah, and so it looks like we have decided to choose the grand stratagem, adding +5, so now 15 might on the side of Batsu to go ahead and get into this battlefield. And so, I mean, and he's only going to be losing 1 unit to taking out 3 that honestly Sarcastic has.
It's still a play. It still gives you control of the battlefields. There is no way it won't, right?
Yeah, and that the hard part is like, what do you do then
Yeah.
after that? You're going to be going back up to 6 runes, which means the Darius play can be coming into
Yes.
into play this next turn, but it looks like Baited Hook is going to be discarded in this case for taking the battlefield. So that actually, might be hurting a little bit because you just got rid of something that was going to be helping very cheaply so make your Darius incredibly dangerous this next turn.
Yeah, still, Jinx. Okay, the best play here is probably just to play Kaisa with Accelerate next turn, but let's see what will happen with Batsu top 5 cards.
And just so you know, guys, the Darius Legend ability is going to be the thing that made that possible. The Darius Legend ability is really good, and it can only be played if another card has been played in the turn. And it says that you just go ahead and add 1. So you do have to go ahead and still recycle to activate the hook here in this case, but the Darius can give you just so much more utility and help get that extra power you need to get back into this game.
We can get a few interesting cards. There can be a Daring Poro, that's probably the worst hit, because then there is Trifarian Glory Seeker, which would give a buff because he played another card, and there is the way. Of course, he played the stratagem. What I am even saying, he could play anything from this baited hook. Of course, he still needed to play. He still needed to pay the power cost for the Draven, but it's a great card to do a follow up next turn. And because of this, because of how it worked, playing Grand Stratagem this turn was by far better move than playing Darius, by far.
Yeah, exactly. And this is going to be the interesting part because it's like, well, now what do? You have an 8 might Draven on the other side of the field. So as a Jinx player, it's like, do I have those answers in hand? I can do maybe, a Kaisa and Cleave, but that only gets me up to 7. I can do a Darius and Cleave, and that'll get me up to 10. But I'm going to have to be waiting a turn and have them get that much closer to getting to, the 8 points needed to win here. And so, in this case, we're still going to be able to take the battlefield, get to point number 6, and then really just hope that we can maintain those answers to get that Darius out of there because he's only going to get stronger the closer they get to winning.
I guess it would be perfect to get an Hextech Ray from the top deck at the start of the round, just to be able to kill one of the recruits if he will want to conquer the battlefield. But if Jinx does not have an answer for that, then Draven just comes out to the zone warrens, he scores for sure, and then there is only a question if there is an answer to the one token, one might token. If yes, then maybe there is still a hope for Jinx player. If not, it's probably GG.
Yeah, and so still a lot of decisions. A Draven coming out on his other side as well and getting back, discarding in this case, sorry. To add back then the missile to have another 5 damage that could potentially start swinging in. Now here we go, adding in a Tide Turner, which is going to be doing a nice little switcheroo there and putting back the unit back to base here. So now, of course, finally adding that point. A lot happened before they added that point, but it looks like, they finally got that point going, and we are going to continue play here.
But there is an easy play. Just use Falling Star, mate. Just do it. We know you have it in hand, and it's so handy right now. Just kill 2 units, score 2, at least try to, of course, because maybe you won't be able to, because maybe Jinx has an Hex Ray in her hand, but aside of that, it will be pretty hard.
Yeah, and Falling Star, even on the Darius side, is going to be pretty scary as well, dealing 6 damage. It's like if anything scary ends up coming out, I don't necessarily want to use a lot of my runes in this case, and if so, I'll use the Darius in my back pocket just in case, because I have Falling Star to deal 6 damage to whatever you dish out here.
But wait, he does not use it? I mean, he still can, right? Of course, he still can, because the point is, if he won't use it right now, he won't be able to activate Legion, for example, he needs to fortify the second battlefield somehow, because if not, Legion Rearguard will just conquer it. And then there may be some twisted way to kill Draven. But it's not gonna happen, because... Ah, wait,
we just saw the
never
Falling
mind.
Star be
He's-
discarded here.
Yeah. From the zone warrens. Interesting. I mean, because of that, there may be some outs. But let's see if any.
Well, that could be the hard part about only having 2 cards in hand. It's like, I gotta pick one or the other. And yeah, I get to draw another one, but I mean, at what cost, you know? And so the Draven at 10, though, is still going to be a great answer. There's not something that just necessarily in the JINX deck that just says get rid of this unit necessarily. And so Darius is going to be in a really good spot here and just needs 1 point left to be able to take this. So it'll be interesting to see what JINX can continue to do. But right now, Batsu's looking really good in this situation and still has the Darius in his back pocket.
Very good first game from him, that's for sure. I think that Batsu should be satisfied with how he played. Definitely good decision making, and this deck is kicking. I would say it's kicking. Especially that it looks very fun to play. Like every time you proc baited hook, it gives you a dopamine rush.
Well, and that's just the thing is like Darius can be a more complicated because there's a lot more choices that you need to make. And I gotta say that the biggest thing that really helped change this momentum around was that Batsu was able to use the baited hook to hit the Spectral Matron, which then went into a Vanguard Captain and just put so many units out onto the board. And it's like, cool, I just added, 12 might, we'll say, for quick math, to my board. Can you keep up with that? And in this case, the JINX was like, I don't necessarily know if I can. We'll see what happens. And then also with that grand stratagem, just really taking out those 3 units, very well could have sealed this game.
Do we use baited hook?
Yeah, that's a good question, because you could use it and then go ahead and try to get a 3 might or less, or a 3 cost or less, if you go ahead and pick the 2 might unit in the battlefield. So baited hook might be able to hit something. We do have currently, I mean, we have more than half the deck that costs 3 or less here that could be played. The only problem is baited hook does only select a unit in this case. So if you do happen to miss on that, you just kind of spin that and recycle something for almost nothing.
Yeah, so the decision is, you could try to high roll, but instead of that, yeah, we just play Vanguard Captain with Legion to fortify this battlefield. Like on one side you have Draven with 10 might, on the other side you have just 10 small units with 10 might, almost 10 of course, not exactly, but the point is, either way, good luck. I don't think there is an out.
Well, and here's the thing, though. There very well could be, because, well, the Draven at 10 is tough. And you have the Darius, which is with Cleave, which is going to be 6 of your runes so far. But to take out the Darius and still be able to deal with the other side of the board, which, I mean, mind you, there looks like there's a lot there. Kind of. There's 9 might all in all, but still that is really difficult to come over, especially when you do only have 7 runes to work with, and 6 is going to be what's needed to take out one or the other battlefields here.
Yeah, it's scoop. It's scoop, I think. Yeah.
Yep, I think you're right. So it looks like with that, Batsu is going to be taking game number 1.
How do you even try to make this matchup more playable for JINX? You don't have any way to kill baited hook. You don't have, I don't know, like Icatian Rain to hit many units. Like Darius can just chill. For example,
exactly.
Salvage is not needed. Noxian Drummer is not needed, I guess. Dangerous Duo, call to, like, you don't need to change anything, I think, in Darius.
No. Well, and maybe if you do, you might be wanting to add the cards that are going to be more aggressive in this case. And so you might really be trying to be adding the Noxian Drummer here, maybe trying to add things to go ahead and continue to contest the aggro that JINX can bring to the table. Likewise, with JINX being here, you want to maybe start looking at playing some Faded Memories. We have 3 of those as an option, and what Faded Memories does is it gives a unit at a battlefield or a gear temporary, meaning that you'll kill it at the start of its controller beginning phase before scoring. So, Baited Hook can be no more in this case, and we can see if maybe you take out Baited Hook, that momentum that Darius is able to maintain might be hindered here.
Touché, touché. Reading the cards explains the cards, I guess. It's the rule as old as card games themselves. But yeah, you for sure need 3 copies in your deck right now. Just do it.
Yep.
Just do it.
So we'll see how this continues to develop, though, and there's a couple of other options that you might be able to do. Gust might even be a good factor here as well, being able to remove a 3-cost or less unit back to the opponent's hand. That could be something to really slow down Darius as well, especially with how low might a lot of his units are. But we're going to go ahead and see what Game 2 is going to bring. Can the JINX bring it back, or is Darius going to be 2-0ing this great legend?
Especially with battlefields, because for example Void Gate doesn't seem like a big deal for JINX, so the only option is Obelisk of Power. We need to remember that JINX right now, that honestly Sarcastic will be choosing which he goes, first or second, so Obelisk of Power should be good. Still, Game 3 would not look as cool as he would want to, so yeah.
Yeah,
this
time will tell at
will
least.
just be hard, definitely.
Yeah, and so it's like, well, and JINX has the pressure now. Yeah, you're exactly right. You do get to go ahead and see how this is going to be going, but it's like, are you able to necessarily do a lot here? And so...
And, in comparison to JINX, Darius has the best possible battlefield to play right now, in my honest opinion. It will probably be Trifarian War Camp. Like, giving all your small units +1. It's so broken. With Hook as well? Nah, it's so broken.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, honestly, Sarcastic can see a lot of that coming at least and know what to at least anticipate. It's one thing to anticipate it, though. It's another thing to actually have to deal with it and overcome that. And so we'll see what this is going to bring. But, man... And that's going to be the biggest thing, and we've talked about this in the past a little bit, you and I, of how crucial battlefield decisions can be. If you decide to go with, like, a certain battlefield game 1, but hey, you know, that actually could have played off a lot better in game number 2, game number 3 maybe, especially having the choice of going first or second here, you know, that alone can be such a big factor on who can actually win this match.
That's true. What is happening, guys? Let us see the battlefields. Still not sure. Still, what to play. What a pickle, what a pickle.
Well, and that's the thing, too. Both players are 2-0 right now, so it's like, you know, do I go with this or this? Yeah, there's a lot of deciding factors here, and a lot at stake at trying to get those points secured for the continuation of these clashes.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, not gonna lie, it gives me satisfaction that, of course, at the end of the day, in every deck we would have 50% of chance guessing which battlefields, but I like when you state something logical and then you see that it makes sense at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, we see Trifarian War Camp from Darius' side and Obelisk of Power from JINX's side.
Yeah, and this is going to be very crucial.
Huge, Mr. Knight, huge. Yes, we have Seal of Rage from start of the game. We can play the game as intended in JINX deck. Finally, that's the main problem with JINX deck, I guess. The difference between playing with Seal from the start of the game and not playing with Seal is so huge. If there will be any card that will help you search for seals, and probably it won't be, because Riot Games especially states that they don't want to have searchers because they don't want to have you shuffle your deck. Maybe searcher, like in look at the top 5 cards, that's okay. But if seals would get a search card, it would help a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And and you bring up an interesting point about like even shuffling the deck, and that's what one of the most dangerous parts about doing your mulligan, because especially if you see in hand, you're running a 2 of a certain card that's in your beginning hand, but it might not be great to have in the beginning, and you're just like, okay, I'll put it to the bottom, and you might never see it again. Well, and you won't ever see it again. We even with Timo in round 1, he went through 2/3 of his deck, but you still never see that card that you mulligan again. So you got to play that into account too, because you're right, you don't shuffle after you mulligan your 2 cards.
Yeah, I really love the mechanic. It's again, I was talking about it earlier. It's another mechanic when you can see the skill expression. It's so crucial to decide what to discard and what not to recycle, of course, not discard as well. But we are not talking about that. But right now, we are seeing Kai'Sa being played calmly without accelerating because it was not even possible. But we are getting a hidden card from JINX. And there is only... Wait, what could it be? Wait. I don't see
that's the scary part.
cards.
It's like, what could be the hidden card
okay.
here?
There is only one. Yes, Tide Turner, of course.
Yep, and that can be a fun switcheroo, especially trying to save things that are important. You want to save the Phoenix here in this case because it does have the Assault buff, which can go ahead and make it attack with 5 instead of 3. And so it's like, hey, if I want to go ahead and attack in with the, with the 2 of my units to go ahead and deal 4 to it, that's a pretty big win. But Tide Turner goes ahead and saves it and says, hey, by the way, Kai'Sa is going to be coming in, and instead of attacking in with just 4, it's going to be at 7, and that can be so different to deal with.
But a little problem is if you will be attacking the Phoenix with 4 already, I don't think that you want to sacrifice Kai'Sa. So I think this Tide Turner is only here to give the +2.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, and I think the problem is, it says when you play me, you may choose a friendly unit, so that is a big deciding factor there as well.
But if opponent is attacking only with Poro, that's fine. I guess that's fine. But still, there may come Cleave to play. Remember, guys, Cleave is an action. You can play it during combat if it's your priority. But no, there is no Cleave, but we are playing the Hidden Blade.
Yeah, and that's going to be the big thing is going ahead then, and you are going to be able to remove the battlefield, which is going to be a great turn there, but you're still giving your opponent 2 more cards, and I mean, JINX having more cards in hand isn't necessarily the worst kind of situation, but it's still, you don't want to give your opponent 2 cards in this case. Yeah. But that's the thing too, is like you're almost stopping JINX's legend ability from even being a factor in this game, because that extra card draw that JINX can have is such a big deciding factor. But I mean, still, this is going to be a very big deciding game as well, and if Darius can get ahead, this can be very telling.
Let's see. First thing we see, there's the difference between first and second game of this BO3, is that after a few turns, Runefield of JINX looks pretty healthy. Like, yeah, that's... imagine being able to play cards. That's so nice.
Yep, and so here we go with the Cleave coming in, adding 3 might to the Tide Turner here, going up to 5. So that is going to be taking out that unit with ease and being able to conquer that battlefield. And then with that, we also have another couple units coming in. I mean, again, this is the speed that you can see JINX move with. You were at 5 cards, now you're down to 2, and you still have even 1 rune left in hand. There's a chance that you might even be able to use that to get down to 1 card to go back up to 3 at the start of the next turn. And so, a lot of factors here. Now, the Poro might still be able to attack in and take back this battlefield, but I mean, we'll see what happens.
Daring Poro Assault +1, so he's a 3 might attacker. Very scary thing. Of course, be careful, guys, about him, but what's in hand? Yeah, that's very important. Spectral Matron could be nice, but I don't think we have great targets right now in Trash. The point is, you need to play it. You need to play it. Yeah.
Well, and here's the interesting thing too, and you almost got to be a little bit careful. Even on online sims, I want to talk a little bit about the body language that you're going to necessarily be having. Because, for example, with the Jinx player, he just immediately grabbed and removed that player, no thought of anything about maybe some removal or things like that. And so you're telling your opponent essentially, with how fast you remove that unit, that I don't have any spells necessarily that can activate, at least for the one cost here. And so it's like, okay, cool. So you probably don't have a Hextech Ray in hand. With how fast you moved that unit away. So a really interesting tell potentially there if Batsu was able to catch that.
I think that's a great point. I really think that's a great point. Especially that at the highest level, everything can be in your advantage. It's very important to be able to bluff your opponent, especially in Riftbound when there is a lot of answers. But in the other way, from the other perspective, oh! Unfortunately, no target for Mirror, so useless right now. Darius player is so five-headed. He probably removed baited hook from the deck because he knew. That would be so insane. Of course not. He's just unlucky not to draw it. But in the other way, he removed the unit fast from the board because he wanted to bluff his opponent that he doesn't have the Hex-Ray.
Yeah, and that's the tough part too, because especially with how fresh this game is, there's a lot of people who are trying to do the give and take on how to even make the correct choices in this gameplay. And right now we see the Darius coming out, and that's going to be the second card for turn as well. So the Darius is going to be readied and at 7 might. And I mean, right now, that's still a lot of might on the other side of the battlefield as well. But you do have the ability to then move in with 11 going against, let's see, 3, 5, 9, 11 as well. And so if you do want to dare trade into that, again, though, we only have one untapped rune in this case, one card in hand. It's like, do I want to give my opponent the point? Or give them a chance to also maybe reinforce the same battlefield next turn?
So problematic.
Oh, and then they get +1 every time, too.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, so they have way more units, too.
So basically, it's not a field you could take on. That's for sure. Like, as I said, Trifarian War Camp, if you are playing at least some kind of token deck or small body deck, beautiful.
Yep, and so this is going to be a big deciding factor here. It's like, now that each unit has +1 attached to it because of the Typharian War Camp, and so that's going to be a big option here. It's like, what can I take out? Do I want to even throw my Darius into it? Because yes, I can clear things out, but each opponent only has one card in hand, and so we're almost to the point of top decking here.
Then JINX should be happier about it, right? Because we want to remind you about JINX ability, which was not used in last game. So funny. But JINX's legend ability says that at the start of the beginning phase, draw 1 if you have 1 or fewer cards in your hand. So it's beautiful. Like, the game of attrition for JINX is the best game. For sure. So she is definitely happy. Especially that she still has her champion unit in her champion unit chosen slot.
Yeah, exactly, and that's going to be the biggest thing here, and you can see the difference between having a baited hook out in the early game and kind of lacking it. And I mean, that's the thing, JINX can go ahead and be a lot more aggressive and even more so consistent with this as well. And honestly, Sarcascc is really trying to take this game. It's still 3-3, but with soon going up to 3 cards in hand, and potentially going up to maybe even 5 points at the start of his next turn, or 5 points at the end of his next turn, that can be a really big difference maker, especially with Darius, who only has now 2 cards in hand.
Just to be sure, did he score a hold point?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because it was 3-3 before he started the turn, right?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Let's do VAR.
But we'll
VAR.
see.
Hello, VAR. Let's see. Because just to be sure that no one is... Because at the end of the day, scoring is mandatory trigger, so you can't just skip it, of course. But aside of that, let's focus on how Darius is developing his board, because it looks better. He played out Darius. He played out also another Trifarian Glory Seeker. So for the next turn, it looks good. It looks good. You will give your opponent a little head start. Jinx can develop as well right now. She can also get 2 points, because I would definitely move with the Traveling Merchant to the field just to get the 5th point. But aside of that, Jinx won't be in bad spot.
Well, and here's the thing too, and we got to keep in mind that the Traveling Merchant can really help thin out your deck. Maybe things that are better in the early game you don't want to necessarily have at this point in the game. Cool, I'm going to go ahead and move that over, maybe discard something. But right now, at the same time, this is a really good hand for the Jinx player. And also, just like what I was about to bring up, the champion has not been played yet until now. And so being able to then go ahead and activate that, boost up Jinx as well when you discard a card with moving over, you can have maybe some really scary stuff start to happen with Jinx and to really bring the board presence back.
Perfect. Again, in first game of this BO3, Super Mega Death Rocket was not able to find any crucial targets. Right now, tempo swing after tempo swing, it's a perfect game for Jinx, I swear. It looks so great.
No, you're exactly right. And then once they take this next battlefield, they can then go ahead and get back the Super Mega Death Rocket, because when you conquer, you can discard a card and remove it back to your hand. And so you can deal another 5 damage the following turn, and it's like you just took out Darius. That was one of the biggest threats. Batsu now only has 1 card in hand, and the field, yeah, sure, you have, some good buffed units here, but at the same time, it's like, look at the Jinx board and how wide they were able to go, and so quickly as well.
What now? How do you want to proceed, Sarcastic, honestly Sarcastic? Because Darius does not have mass removal aside of, kind of course, mass removal, but aside of Grand Stratagem. It almost works as a big removal. Because right now he would have 3 units with 8 might if he plays it. And we know that from the start of the game, almost from the start of the game, he has Grand Stratagem in his hand.
Yep, and so we'll see how this ends up going. So the Jinx is going to be able to conquer, get it back, ready back up after discarding another card, and just get that point, move back, and say, okay, my units are back in base. If you choose to go for the 2 points, that's fine. I can push this next turn with anything that you answer, especially with just you having 2 cards in hand.
Insane. So, basically, Yasuo only needs this Jinx. Why are they not playing this Jinx? Insane. Let's try it. Maybe someone wants to cook it. But for sure, yeah, it's so irritating card. And it's so funny because you have only 1 copy of this in the deck, but it seems very important for this deck list.
Yep, and here we go. We do see the stacking up, and now on top of that, we are going to be able to play our unit out to be able to add another token unit here to be able to give some defense here. But I mean, even still, and playing that in Trifarian War Camp is going to be nice because, again, everything is boosted. But again, if honestly Sarcastic goes ahead and attacks with 3 units, then it's almost negated there. And here is the Mind Splitter as well to look at the opponent's hand and just say, okay, Grand Stratagem, you're out of here.
I really love how happy, honestly, Sarcastic is. This dude, I love his energy. I love it. Beautiful thing to see. Okay, so, haha, I knew it. And here we have a scoop. No way to play it out. Beautiful game from Jinx. Like, that's how this deck should work.
Yeah, exactly. And, sometimes you might have that issue where the consistency of Jinx might be the thing that's really keeping it out of the tier 1 talks here. But, I mean, you were able to see how it's able to answer the Darius. Now, the biggest factor is with this Jinx deck, can it still have those answers? Yes, we have the fading memories that we have cited in. But if they get the baited hook out, and if I happen to miss the fading memories, can I still keep up with the caliber that is this Darius deck? And so each player now is 1-1, but I mean, Jinx is very impressive here on what it can do, and the game knowledge that, honestly Sarcastic has is clearly showing here in this case.
At the end of the day, I think it's pretty fair to say that both of these decks have some consistency problems, because we have seen just now how different Darius is without baited hook. And it was not even because enemy had an answer to it. in a flesh and body and the card of fading memories, but just because he didn't draw it. He didn't draw it, yes. So, yeah, JINX needs seals from the start of the game. Darius needs baited hook. Let's see who will draw better.
Yeah, and in this case, it's like almost you want to go ahead and try to do sabotage in the side deck for Batsu here, because that can go ahead and destroy, you know, the gears as well, including what JINX has been utilizing to go ahead and pay the recycling costs. And so, do you want to go ahead and side both those cards in to maybe deal with that? And it's like, well, time will tell. And here we go, though. We're going to be going into Game 3 now. It is anyone's game, but maybe Batsu going first might be a pretty big deciding factor on locking down this best of 3.
And the last fields that are left for us are from the side of JINX, Void Gate. So, spells and abilities affecting units here each deal 1 bonus damage. Not so exciting against Darius, because your Super Mega Death Rocket, like every unit of Darius is in the reach of Super Mega Death Rocket, aside of Draven that is pumped up by points, of course. But in terms of Darius, there are Zone Warrens left, if I remember correctly, because in the first round there was a Candlelit Sanctum from Darius, second game Trifarian Warcamp, so now we have Zone Warrens from Darius, which is very good for JINX.
Yeah, exactly. And so you can also just see how fast everything can kind of move here. And that's what's going to be so crucial here about Mulligans, because it's like if JINX can just hit that ground running and, you know, the Darius kind of misses a little bit, it can be a very big deciding factor here. Darius's legend ability, though, can be such a big difference maker here, because as long as you played that that first card out for the turn, Darius can go ahead and be utilized here with the extra, you know, rune to be able to try to maybe get something bigger out in this case. And so a lot of utilization there as well, as we continue to see what the battlefields are in this game.
See, we got it. We got it.
So Darius has done some sideboarding here. Is it going to make a difference in this game? And so does find the baited hook. That's a little bit scary to be able to see. And I mean, at the same time, you still have the Seal of Rage as well in hand, but also Seal of Unity on the other side. So, and a Daring Poro can be one of the best cards for you to be able to have in the early game as well.
No answer on baited hook from Honestly Sarcastic. Well, there is a seal, so I guess the start would be pretty fair for both of them. But yeah, being first as Darius, I really would like to hear from the players if they play this particular matchup. Do they always want to go first? Because if you go first, of course you have tempo most of the time, right?
Yeah, and that's going to be the big thing is, yeah, you can set up the tempo, but especially with like something like a JINX deck or a Kaisa deck, you have a lot of removal as well. So it's like, you know, the Poro can even maybe try to go into a battlefield and you play your 2 cost and then you just go ahead and do the Hextech Ray. Okay, cool. Well, you know, there's some stuff that you can utilize with that can be a little scary to have to work around.
By the way, interesting, in my opinion, information for Honestly Sarcastic. If you are going for the Void Gate, having this Poro, then you are in my opinion, you are giving an information that you don't want to lose any of your cards in your hand. You don't want to mulligan any cards from your hand. Recycle them. I mean, recycle in terms of getting new one, not in the terms of mechanic in the game. Never mind. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it gives an information that Darius has perfect opening hand.
Yeah, and that's going to be the biggest thing. But also with the hook out, Seal of Unity can now come down and pay for that recycling cost as well. Now, of course, you still got to recycle to get it out in the first place, but after the fact, you're going to be sitting here pretty good in this case. And now we see that there's going to be the discard of the Rocket here, also discarding the Phoenix as well with moving over the Traveling Merchant. So JINX is going to be at 7. Then just like that, you're going to be getting back the Rocket into hand. And if you go ahead and recycle 1, you can add the Phoenix back out to the battlefield.
Yeah, by the way, Rocket for Rocket. from his and he's happy. Why he's laughing so much? Does he know? Like, does he have a stand-upper in his room telling him jokes? And we don't know that because this dude, I really want to be as happy as him in my life.
Yeah, seriously, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I love these cams here as well. We get to see reactions. We've seen that even in the tournaments as well. From a couple weeks ago, where someone was literally like clasped their hands together and was like, "Thank you," because they managed to get the clutch that they needed. Love just this kind of interaction that we get to see in these tournaments.
Yeah, the point is there is a high chance that we'll be seeing these players in the future in the big tournaments. So it's so nice that already we can build we can see them building their identity as people in the scene. It's even if we are playing right now online, it gives you the original card game feeling. That's why I love it. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, exactly right. And having this Jinx out onto your base as well as honestly Sarcastic, you can just go ahead then and continue to play this Rocket, for example, take out some dangerous threats. In this case, Jinx can then go ahead and be readied up. There's just a lot of utility here that can really be dangerous. And now we see already that we have the Vanguard Captain, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Vanguard Captain, where when it's your second card that is played, you get to go ahead and just recruit 2 1 might unit tokens, which, man, and with the baited hook out, it's like, hey, see ya, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that and just play it again.
No, man, too much Vanguard Captains.
And so just like that, you have added so much might. Now, luckily, we don't have the Trifarian War Camps to really utilize that. At least if you're honestly Sarcastic, you're thankful that was used in Game 2. But, man, you see all this might to have to deal with.
Yes. By the way, interesting thing for all of you watching this to maybe learn something new. Maybe if you are new to the game, it will be useful information. But, of course, we have champion unit DARIUS that says if you play the second card in your round, in this particular turn, then he's getting ready and gets +2. But the point is, if you play DARIUS as second card, he will also see himself as the second card and he will enter ready and get +2. But if you play him as the third card, he won't be ready this turn, because it counts every card you played this turn. So if you played him as third, and then you played the fourth card, he won't get ready. So it's important, in my opinion, to remember that.
Yep, timing is everything, especially in this game, and we've even seen in this tournament as well over on the YouTube cast, there was even one blunder because of that as well, and we even saw yesterday as well when someone played Challenge at the wrong time, not realizing the interactions potentially. There can be a lot here, and especially with such a new game, those interactions can sometimes be hard to discover, and you're almost learning in real time in these tournaments. But luckily, there's not necessarily a whole lot at stake here just yet.
Man, it will be so funny at the locals when this game will release. So many weird situations. I can't wait to see that in my life. But then we see 5 cost with rune. Oh my. Woo, that's an investment. 3 cards gone from hand of JINX, but then we get the Raven on the field.
Yeah, and that's going to be really awesome too. And, especially here, we're going to be able to, really start streaming also on locals as soon as this game comes out as well. So there's a lot of exciting things to look forward to coming to this channel as well. Just a whole team fully dedicated to the love and passion of this game. And it really is a passion project for a lot of us here. And so to be able to bring this kind of content to you is just so fun. I mean, we've seen already, we're a month and a half, pretty much a month and a half away from release. And we're already having such high-level play as well, and just being able to see how this meta is even playing out and fleshing out in real time.
Dude, it's so exciting because if already things like this happen, like these tournaments, what will happen after the release? Like, I feel like even if you are not a League of Legends fan, but if you want to be part of something great, I'm not even joking. If anyone who listens to this want to be part of something great, or maybe your friends, if you want to find a new, very nice hobby, I really think that Riftbound, because there are so many people passionate about it, is the great thing to pick up. Especially if you hear about it right now, because I don't want to give anyone FOMO, but starting at the same around the same time that this game will start is always easier. Like being at the start of card game is always making things easier, always. So yeah.
Oh man.
Remember
you see
that?
the discard of the baited hook right there as well, and so baited hook is going to be activated again in this case, taking out the Vanguard captain that was in the battlefield. And with that being said, that will now look at the top 5 cards for a 4 might or greater in this case. Now, of course, getting rid of one of the baited hooks in hand, that could be a little bit scary because right now, Batsu doesn't necessarily know that the JINX has cited for this. I mean, he saw it kind of game 1, but that might be something very easy to forget well, that you are citing an answer to it. Now, at the same time, like we see here, honestly, Sarcascc needs to have that answer, which unfortunately hasn't been able to. But Cleave on the other side and Falling Star is scary.
Nah, that's brutal. Ay, 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 ay. Batsu took the bat and said, "Su." Like, nah, it's insane. It's an insane play from him, especially that, in my opinion, he should just leave runes open for the situation where anything comes to a battlefield. And to be fair, maybe let's play Hidden Blade. Let's just kill something. And by the way, let's just kill the only unit that stays right now, because Falling Star comes in a clutch.
Yep, seriously, and that is going to really thin out the field that JINX has. And I mean, JINX has 3 cards in hand, soon to be 4, but even still, look at that board state that Batsu has been able to build. There are a lot of scary answers there. Baited Hook can continue to even be utilized this next turn as well. You saw how fast that can move with hitting also on top of that with the Baited Hook, the Spectral Matron again, and then being able to get back out the Vanguard Captain to add more units. I mean, there is just a lot of utilization here, and JINX just saw how Darius could go 0 to 100 just like that.
Like, we will need more space for Batsu to play his units probably soon enough. That's why IRL, pro tip for everyone, if you are playing a deck that has a lot of the same kind of token, it may be useful to just have 1 token. Let's say you have 15 tokens in base. I guess that in future it will happen. You can just have 1 token and 3 dices with number 5. And to just, you don't need to have every of the 15 tokens in your base, just to be sure.
Yeah, and that's going to be the tough part here is because, yeah, this can go ahead and be very difficult to try to get things moving here on this as well, because it's like Darius is going to be able to go in.
Boom! Boom! Let's go. Yeah, okay. Dude, no problem. Draw your cards. Draw your cards. You have no tempo. You don't have anything. No problem. I can give you that. I will just score 3 points. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, going up 5 to 2 at this point, sure, I only have 3 runes. I'm going to be going up to 5 this next turn. But even still, I have my entire field built up. My base is full, and we're ready to evade at this point. So it's like, hey, I'll go up to 5. I'm going to go up to 7 after that, and then say, what do you have to show me? Can you go ahead and take this back? Now, here we go with going ahead and tapping 5 to go for a readied Kaisa in this case. So we're at least going to be able to get some card draw and then potentially even, get some answers going here. But we'll see what that might be able to do.
Well, the only way... it's so hard because, yeah, you played Kaisa, you will draw something. You even will be able... Yeah, that's actually huge because another unit, that's very nice. The problem is, you wouldn't even have enough runes to play Fading Memories, because Fading Memories costs 4 energy and 1 power. So, look at that. Playing Hextech Ray on 1 might token. Nah, brothers, we are so done. JINX enjoyers, sorry guys, but it will be a funeral.
Yeah, that's going to be the hard part here. It's like almost too little too late. Yes, you're stopping your opponent to go ahead and get the point going up to 5. You still do have 5 cards in hand as honestly Sarcastic, so I don't necessarily want to catch or, count him out yet, but I mean, baited hook is the answer here, and on how fast Darius can move and how quickly everything can just be utilized to his advantage. I mean, this is difficult. We've seen how fast JINX can hit, but man, Darius is just answering everything back tenfold.
There is only one hope. That's the fact that Darius will only have 5 runes, right? Like, how much can you do with this deck with 5 runes? Well, you can play baited hook, and that's the problem. Like, you only need 1 rune for that, actually.
Well, and here's the thing, too. You can go ahead and play out, like, for example, your 5-cost Darius. Then you can use Darius's Legend ability to go ahead and activate Baited Hook and use the seal to pay the recycle cost, and then you just go ahead and can activate everything.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, man, that's so depressing. Because I really feel that Riftbound will be a game that in most of the matches you won't know that you are losing until you have lost, right? But there will be games when you know that that they are unwinnable, and I think we might see one of those states. He stepped out. He will get traded. Yeah, we even have Cleave.
Yeah, and that Cleave is going to be adding 3. So, I mean, that's a big deal with the Assault right there. That can easily clear out. And then here we go, playing another. Oh, gosh. So there's a lot of answers here in this case.
This should be prohibited, right? Like, can we give honestly Sarcastic this game? Please? It's totally unfair. Drawing, like, if I would draw like this, I could probably be a world champion in Riftbound. Nah, Batsu is crushing it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're finding all the answers that you need to be able to shut down this Kaisa deck. And I mean, look at all this might. I mean, it's so hard to almost even keep this straight with all the cards on the other side of the field. And I mean, now he's even buffing up one of his units at this point, and it's like, well, is that a token underneath, or is that just a buff in this case?
By the way, I much more liked the previous, the homebrewed buff token, because it was Chain Vest from League of Legends. No, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and now it's like it's buff because there are a few champions. I don't like it. I liked the Chain Vest, the buff, for sure.
Yeah, and that'll be really cool to finally get our hands on those cards in real life when that releases. And so right now, though, this is going to be very difficult. You at least have a Phoenix on, honestly, Sarcastic side that does have Assault 5. But, I mean, at the same time, Batsu just was like, hey, here's a unit. I'm okay. Yeah. These guys are expendable. And next turn, if you do happen to take anything, I will have the answers. Now, you can still go ahead and take a battlefield and reinforce with, like, Mind Splitter, for example. But even going ahead and discarding that 1 card in hand might not necessarily do a lot to really slow down this win that Batsu might be able to gain.
Very, very unfortunate. The problem is that, honestly, Sarcastic got seal, but he got 2 seals. He didn't want to have 2 seals. If one of those seals would be Fading Memories, this game would be playable. But, yeah, that's the card game for you. You need to comply with variance. It happens.
Yep, and so we'll see how this ends up going. But, I mean, it's like, we've seen the answer so far. We've seen what we're able to do here. There's been answer after answer. Darius has been juggling the game so well and being able to find all the answers that we need. Able to move in now with the Kaisa to go ahead and conquer and gain the... Or, sorry, wrong thing. We might be able to go ahead and take the battlefield of the Warrens, maybe the Void Gate, but otherwise, yeah, it looks like that's just going to be a scoop there in this case. And that might be it.
GG, Mr. Batsu. You are the Darius GOAT. Himself, definitely. I'm not gonna lie. This third game of this BO3 kind of almost hook baited me to playing Darius. I almost feel like I want to play Darius.
No, exactly right. And, man, you got to see what Darius was able to do. Yes, it struggles when the baited hook kind of misses here, or you're not able to get that in hand, but even still, it can hit the ground running really big. But guys, we are going to be going into the next game here pretty quick. We're going to take a quick break, but this final game is sure to be a banger. Take my word for it on that. A lot of fun stuff to see. One more round to go with a short break, and we will be right back.
Be there or be square.